Hey YouTube, it's Sierra. I know, before you say it, 2 videos in 1 week, it's kind of crazy. I just kind of got inspired for today's topic, so I wanted to hop online and talk about it with you guys. Before we get into it, a quick intro. Again, my name is Sierra. Welcome to my channel. A little bit about me. A few years ago, I was at the heaviest point of my entire life at over 250 pounds. So I started a weight loss journey where I lost over 80 pounds completely naturally. Since then, I've been able to keep most of the weight off. However, I've regained roughly 1/3 of it back after having 2 back-to-back pregnancies. Now that I'm postpartum, I'm here documenting my new health journey where I'm on a mission to lose 30 pounds by the end of this summer. So come along with me as I work on reclaiming my health, wellness, and body as a postpartum mom. All right, so for today's video, if you're starting your own health journey or you're looking for some advice on how to lose weight, I thought that this would be a really cool thing to share with you guys. We're gonna talk about 5 really helpful strategies and tips that I personally used back when I was losing 80 pounds, and these same strategies I'm using right now as I'm working to lose 30 pounds. Jumping right into it, the first big strategy that I use is fasting. If you've never fasted before, basically it is just going for an extended period of time without consuming any food. Generally speaking, I fast until about lunchtime every day, so I don't really have breakfast anymore. I'm someone who likes to have a bigger lunch and a bigger dinner. I would much rather do that versus having a bunch of little snacks throughout the day. I'd rather have one big meal. So I'll go the whole morning until lunchtime without really eating anything. I will have my coffee in the morning though, but that's really about it, in addition to water, of course. If you're new to weight loss, fasting might be something that you want to try, because again, it just works for me and my body. I just like having bigger meals, so I'll purposely skip breakfast so I can partake in a bigger lunch and dinner. So the second strategy that I use is understanding the difference between restricting food and controlling your portions of food. When people are starting their health journey or if they're trying to lose weight, a lot of them get that mindset of, oh, I can never have fun food anymore. I can't have junk food. I can't have my favorite snack or sweet. For me, that's simply not true. I find that if you fully restrict the foods that you love, it's gonna be dangerous for a couple of reasons. Number one, obviously you're gonna be sad that you're no longer having your favorite foods. Number two, it is a struggle to simply go cold turkey on the things that you've been eating frequently, especially so if you really enjoy those foods. And then the third thing, if you try to go cold turkey on your favorite foods and fully cut them out of your life from the jump, if you get into an opportunity to have that food, like if you're shopping at the grocery store by yourself, or maybe you're at a party or a function where that favorite food is going to be present, the odds of you relapsing and going crazy about that food goes up like 10 times. So for me, restricting does not work. Instead, I taught myself how to simply control my portions. I tell myself I can have everything, but I cannot have it all. And what that means is if there's a food that I want, whether it's a snack food or a fun food, or if it's a healthy whole food, if I want that food, I'm not gonna deny myself that food. But I am gonna make sure I'm having a reasonable and sensible amount of it so it doesn't throw off my daily deficit that I'm trying to go after. And speaking of deficit, that brings me to my third strategy, which is tracking everything that I'm eating. I actually have my food scale right here to show you guys. If you don't already have one of these and you're trying to do a calorie deficit, or if you're trying to lose weight or control your portions, this thing is a godsend. I don't know how you can track your calories accurately without one. So definitely invest in one. I think this was like 20 or 25 bucks from Amazon. So definitely get yourself one. Tracking calories can be meticulous. It does take time to measure and weigh out your food. I also use Fitbit's food diary app to actually keep a diary of everything that I eat. it is meticulous, okay? I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna pretend that calorie counting is easy because it does take a lot of investment from that aspect. But it is a guaranteed way to know exactly how many macros and calories you're taking in. If you're trying to do a calorie deficit, it's impossible to do it accurately if you don't know how much food you're eating. So again, getting a food scale, using some sort of food diary, whether it's Fitbit, MyFitnessPal, Noom, etc. Pick something and use it consistently because that's the only way you're going to be able to maintain your goal. All right, so tip number 4, it kind of ties back into the previous tip. Have you ever heard that saying that abs are built in the kitchen? If you haven't, here's kind of what that means. You cannot, in any circumstance, outwork a bad diet, okay? When you go to the gym, if you go on the treadmill and you're burning calories, that's great. But if you're going home and you're downing a 2-liter of soda, you're destroying a pack of Oreos, if you're doing something like that, you are not going to lose weight. You cannot outwork a poor diet. When people say abs are built in the kitchen, the majority of your progress when it comes to losing fat is dictated by what you're eating. So if you're constantly eating super processed, super high calorie foods, but still going to the gym, you're not going to see results even though you're working out and being healthy. You need to focus on foods that work for your calorie deficit. If you're overeating, if you're choosing foods that are unhealthy and super high in calorie, you're not going to hit your weight loss goals. Focus in the kitchen. What you eat and what you're cooking and what you're doing in the kitchen is 10 times more impactful than anything you can do at the gym. I'm not saying that exercise isn't important, because it definitely is, and it has a lot of benefits, not just from a weight loss aspect, but also from a mental health aspect. Exercise is important, but what's more important is what you're putting in your mouth. All right, and tip number 5, the last item. So this one often gets overlooked, but it's extremely important for fat loss, and that is drinking enough water. Obviously, we all know that water is super important, but we often forget the reason why it's so important, especially for losing fat. So when you're on a calorie deficit, when you're trying to lose fat, any fat that you burn exits your body through water, whether it's the moisture in your breath, whether it's sweat, or if it's through using the restroom, your body is using water as the vehicle to get rid of that fat. If you're dehydrated and you're not getting enough liquids, you're literally setting yourself up for failure. So make sure to hydrate and drink plenty of water. For me, I use a reusable cup. I refill this thing probably 3 times a day. It just helps me be mindful to drink enough water, and I can carry it on the go with me. It's awesome, especially as a mom, because I'm always on the go. So if you don't already have a reusable water bottle, definitely get one. It's super helpful for me, at least. So again, drink enough water. If you don't drink enough water, your fat has nowhere to go. All right, so those are the quick 5 strategies / tips that I wanted to give to you guys. Again, I used all of these tips religiously back when I was losing 80 pounds, and I'm still using all 5 of them to this day as I'm on my new mission to lose 30 pounds. So if you're on your own health journey, I hope those are helpful for you. If you try them out, definitely let me know. I'm curious to know what you guys think. And as always, thanks so much for joining me today, and I'll see you guys next week for my next video. Take care. Bye.